You guessed right, people. The Wanna Parlay podcast is, in fact, sponsored by Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into 2 grand. We are just one day into our one a week, and we are already having people cleaning up. Some big time players to shout out today, and some names for the rest of us losers to go check out. Go fuck yourself, Baylor. I was feeling good. You ruined me. Pick'ems. PSV Cleasy winning $200 last night. Utah hung on to win and cover against Kansas State. Got a little sweaty there down the stretch, but some free throws got him through. Cleans up for first place. Good enough for 200. Good stuff, Cleasy. And then the main event, Suave throwing out an early 30.3 tour to get things going. Currently leading the chase for the 2K prize. Suave, can guarantee you two things, pal. That parlay is going to win you more money than it ever should. Way more money than you'd make in any other sports book or any other DFS platform. But it ain't going to win you the 2K, which is fantastic news to the rest of us. That is still wide open. If you're out there and you're not getting action, go do it right now. Go get action on the main event at Wanna Parlay. We've got a great show for you guys today. We've got Tone coming back on. Hopefully, we'll sit tight on that, and then we'll be talking college hoops, NBA, a little USA Canada hockey, and even start to peek at some other upcoming plot lines here as we sleepy part of the sports calendar. We're trying our best. So the Blue Jays had kind of a fun, not if you're a Blue Jays fan, but like fun from the outside looking in off season. They signed guys like Max Scherzer, which is a blast. Old but first ballot, possibly unanimous Hall of Famer. And they took some big time swings at some other people, put through some money at Juan Soto. Tried to get in this the pitcher from coming over from Japan, and they tried to, obviously he's a Dodger now. Dodgers got, yeah. It's not even worth asking. So it was a weird one. And then I believe they took a big swing and a miss at Alex Bregman. I think they offered him the biggest deal on there, and they even gave him a player 1 year opt out, if I remember reading the article correctly. And he declined that. So just the most Toronto thing ever. So I don't know what they're going to do with Vlad. Obviously, Vlad Sr. left, became an angel. So go Halos. So we'll see with Vlad Jr. They packed the stadium. I don't know enough if that's the best baseball town because they seem to struggle to sign free agents. I know the tax is a little bit different in Canada. You're not making nearly as much on your contract, but I don't know. Those games with Batista seemed pretty electric. Yeah, it's a weird. I hear. Are we both on mute? Well, this is hot stuff. In the meantime, I'll keep it going for the good people of the podcast. What you guys have missed out on is some riveting stuff from Lantz, which is unfortunate. Groundbreaking, frankly, news breaking, earth shattering, and we're missing out on all of it. I'll do my best to relay the information, but quite frankly, it's just not the same coming from this messenger. You got to hear it from the horse's mouth himself. In the meantime, I'll give him his praises. He had a good night gambling last night. He faded me on the Baylor bet. That was stupid of him. He won because he's lucky, not because he's smart. Arizona wins that game and kind of cruised. It appears Vegas knows something about Arizona that I do not, because I've watched that team all season, and up until recently, I didn't see it once. One of their marquee wins is the Iowa State win, where they huck in a 75-footer at the buzzer to force the overtime. Wasn't exactly a moment for me where I saw them making progress. And all of a sudden, I watched them play that Baylor team, and the Baylor team isn't necessarily I mean, they're undersized. They're led by their freshmen, so it's not exactly a national championship contender.
Oh, I'm back.
But still, that was a different Arizona team, and the five rolling for Arizona, the kid from Estonia, played his ass off. He's a damn good player. So all of a sudden, I criticized the CBS show about putting Arizona at the 3 seed, and I was all too ready to hammer the bet against them last night. But that looked like a good team. That looks like a tough out come March. So one to keep eyes on. Lance, are you back?
Yep, I'm back. KG, you're an absolute legend. I could have done possibly this entire episode if it wasn't for you, just on mute, and we would have never known. So thank you so much for actually, coming out in the chat and saying something. That would have been brutal.
I would have just sounded like an absolute psycho, laughing at nobody, just talking to the air. I did like my little minute breakdown of that game last night, though. I did.
Yeah, hey, I loved it because I was on the winning side. U of A did great. They cleaned up. I actually didn't get to catch any of the game, so I did appreciate your little recap right there. In the other game, the hockey game, I just wanted to say something. We should have seen that. When the game's meaningless and you think about nation pride, Sweden wasn't going to lose. They're going to try as hard as they can. That's just
it was meaningless for both sides. The Americans were incentivized to obviously not leave it all out.
Yeah, exactly.
We had bigger and better coming up on Thursday. Yeah. So all of a sudden, early on, Brady Tkachuk kind of gets nicked up and they sit him. And all of a sudden I'm like, damn it. I'm like literally out of guys I know on this team. And they were playing their ass off. We were playing hard. All of a sudden, late in the second period, down 1, I think we had something like 5 shots off the pipe. So it was right there. I stand by the pick. But yeah, it was full patriotism, not very smart.
Oh, you were money line. You were money line. I got you mixed up with a buddy of mine.
Money line and under the 6.5. The under 6.5 was cashed easy. It was just a matter. I mean, they started up 1-0. We score within 12 seconds. I thought I made the smart bet of the year. 1-1 after, and then 2-1 really going into the second period, which was the bummer. And it kind of just camped there for the rest of the game. But again, multiple shots off the pipes.
Yeah.
I thought we were playing with energy. The commentator crew did a great job of pointing out, like, the pace of that game was Stanley Cup-esque. They were playing their ass off. And they actually went as far to give a quick little jab to the Canadians, saying it actually played itself a little faster and a little harder than the Canadian finish game. So I'm just all in on this fucking Thursday game. I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. And I got you mixed up with a buddy. I thought you had USA 1.5. You were just USA money line. But
yeah, USA 1.5 was chasing. You just get suckered into that. You saw the Finland game. You're thinking, okay, I'm going to see a 6-2 game here. Sweden's damn good. They were the third team. They played the Canadians really tough. So yeah, it was a swing and a miss. But hey, you live and you learn.
Yep.
I'll never apologize for betting on America.
Exactly. See, that's the tough part. It's like, I'm not gonna what am I, a fucking pussy? I'm gonna bet on the fucking Americans. Are you kidding me? I'm betting on the best country in the history of mankind. Yeah, I mean, this nation's face-off Thursday is gonna be sick. It's gonna be in Boston. I actually have a couple thoughts as a guy that doesn't know hockey well, but just thinking about how history normally goes, it's very tough to beat a team twice. Now it's a completely different challenge when you're trying to beat Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, and Nathan McKinnon twice, because those guys are freaks. I love the USA with all my heart, but as a gambling man and an advisor, I think, if the smart play would be to take the Canadians, but fuck that. Give me the United States, baby. And we need Donald Trump at that game. If Donald Trump's at the Garden, the electricity, the environment, it will be unbelievable. It'll be incredible. I want to see the Don there. And those are my thoughts on the hockey game. What are your thoughts, Jack?
Well, let me add one more name to that list that did not play in the Saturday night matchup is Cale Makar. They had an illness going through the locker rooms. Cale Makar sat that game out. Top scoring defenseman. He's going to win Defenseman of the Year again. Easily, as far as I know, the best defenseman in hockey right now.
Oh, he's disgusting.
Yeah, so the work's cut out for him. I saw a fun stat that it was Sidney Crosby's first international loss in 15 years for the Canadian team on Saturday night. So the idea that we're going to go hang 2 on him is a little bit dicey. If it wasn't Canada, United States, if we were watching Netherlands play Belgium right now, then maybe I'd be more inclined to just trust the numbers and go colorblind to the flags being flying. But no, absolutely not. This is America the whole way. We're playing our ass off. I'm excited to see us get it on. And if you need just the extra, some kind of statistical fact to get behind so that you're not just blindly flying for the red, white, and blue, Connor Hellebuyck is as good a goaltender as you're ever going to find. Possibly the best American goaltender of all time. Currently the favorite to win the MVP of the nation's this whole tournament. And certainly all these over-unders this entire tournament have been 6.5 or higher. Thursday is going to be at 5.5, and that's 100% because the goaltender playing for the Americans, not for the Canadians.
Dude, man, I'm excited. And I heard that they KG in the chat. By the way, if you took the over of 10.5 last night on how many whiskey shots I was going to do, I crushed that number by midnight. KG, absolute menace, absolute demon. We love it. We love it.
Quick little 1-2 to that. Back to KG. We're getting the care package is finally arriving on Thursday. Fucking FedEx finally got off their asses and got some things accomplished for us. And he just sent me a text of the picture that's coming with it. He's got a little Joe's vodka bottle coming with it. Now, we should have clarified when he was hitting his whiskey that I'm more of a whiskey drinker. That one's going to get more shared amongst friends than it is me. But he's got a whole line, and they've just come out with it. It's a sweet label, old school, no fuss, just cool. It's
nice.
Big time stuff there for KG and Little Joe's.
I love that. And I was on the over for the whiskey shots, so my bet cashed. That was easy. that was locks. I heard quick before we move over to college basketball, because we got to keep this show quick today. Hockey is doing kind of like a World Cup type format from now on. That will be every 2 years, like the Olympics in 2 years, and 2 years after that, a Hockey World Cup. They kind of like with soccer. They're adding that, and I just want to say personally, a team we need to see in those nations and what we should have in these 4 nations, it's Russia. Russia should be there. Russia has Ovechkin and a long list of guys that I can't pronounce their names because it's just, not my specialty, and I don't have them off the top of my head. Like, I'm not a hockey guru. Sorry, guys, but I know damn well Russia's right there with the top of the countries, and I want to see them competing. What are your thoughts?
This has reinvigorated my love for hockey, and so all of a sudden I'm back following the Spit and Shiftlets guys and following some NHL content. And they were going through the Russian team, and I'm not gonna try to remember roster names as well, but just to watch those guys freak out. That's the other team. That's the big bad wolf we're not talking about here. As good as this Canadian team is, like on paper, that Russian team's pretty fucking electric too.
Yeah.
And again, we got weird stuff happening with Canada, USA right now with the tariffs, and they're booing the national anthem, and it adds a little extra sauce to this game.
Get Russia in there.
Sauce on that USA-Russia game. Let's go. I want Trump and Putin in the building. Let's get some shit settled.
My God. Yeah, we have Trump in one press box, Putin in the other, like pointed over there. I mean, that would feed families. That'd be electric. I don't know a better scenario for sports in today's world. All right, so let's transition over to college basketball. You are the guy for college basketball on the show. So do you have anything new, any thoughts, any teams? I know, not much happened since yesterday, but, it's possible.
Well, a couple takeaways. One, got to celebrate my SMU ponies still lingering and hanging around the rim right now as it relates to Selection Sunday. Joey Brackets did not take him off the last 4 out, and still with a chance to play Clemson at home. Yet to beat anybody better than them this season, which is usually, I mean, it sounds like an obvious statement, but at some point you got to go pull a game out. You got to go beat somebody and play your best ball, especially if you're going to be playing at home. So I think that's their ticket. And if not, they're going to have to do something special in the ACC tournament. The ACC has been interesting. You start going through it. The SEC, I think, had 3 of the 1 seeds, 7 of the 16 seeds announced on the top, 4 seeds. Deal they did, the kind of college football playoff parity kind of deal they got going. So the SEC has been daddy. The Big Ten is going to end up getting quite a few teams, and it'll be interesting. You got a bunch of teams hanging: Nebraska, USC, those dark horse contenders. We got a great Big Ten matchup tonight: Michigan State and Purdue. I'm going to be taking Sparty in that bad boy. So yeah, it's just as this all comes out, we got to, Tuesday nights are great college basketball nights. We just got to see this all kind of play itself out because everyone's work is pretty laid out and clean for them. And for the most part, if you're not a mid-major where you're staring down the barrel of having to win your conference to get in, then for the most part, it's clear and obvious, and you just got to go to work. So, coming up, we can identify exactly what that looks like. And teams we're most excited for. We outlined most of the teams that I think are going to be fun guys, pending on the road there. Every time I do this though, Lance, I try to get like a month out of my bracket, and I got 6 teams I'm all in on. And the 6 teams are playing in 3 games. They're all playing against each other. And I'm like, well, fuck, this whole thing's screwed.
That's fucking hilarious. I mean, it's just shambles. All right. I mean, obviously NBA, we're still waiting for games to pick back up tomorrow night. We got Lakers Hornets. Lakers are like 12.5 point favorites, which is kind of, I mean, I hate the Lakers in those spots because they always feel like they're in close games or the game just shrinks the winning total.
Well, couple fun plot lines in that game. The one, something that we got to just be early on if we're going to be trying to get action is there's talk of LeBron getting sat for a couple games. I don't know what that's about. I don't think he tweaked or did anything in the All-Star break. I couldn't quite tell you what all that looks like. Maybe we're getting people used to playing with Luka first, and we're going to work LeBron in. And in the meantime, we don't mind giving the 40-year-old some rest. That seems ridiculous. I'm just purely trying to come up with a reason on top of my head. We got the Dalton Connect. Everybody that was going to be a part of this trade. Dalton Connect, Mark Williams, Cam Reddish, everybody involved still kind of hanging out. So it'll be interesting to see that. Here's a question for you. Does Dalton Connect make the playoffs, the Lakers playoff rotation?
Yes, I believe so. Well, that's a great question because when it gets to playoff time, you really you shrink it to about 7.
You can go. Let's go. Most important
8
players on down, right? So you go Luka 1.
Yep.
LeBron 2.
Yep.
Austin Reeves 3.
Yep.
Jared Vanderbilt 4.
Yeah, interchangeable.
DFS 5. So that would be the
right. Yeah.
Looking at, right? Yeah. Okay. Then you got Rui.
Yep.
Gabe Vincent.
Yeah.
Jackson Hayes.
Yeah.
Now we're at 8.
Yeah, it's difficult because
and we haven't rotated any other 5 in. And
yeah,
we've got, so
it's interesting. Yeah, and I also believe like a guy like Vanderbilt isn't a solidified rotation piece. I feel like it's depending on matchups and things of that nature.
Here, I got kind of a hot take on Vanderbilt. I start Vanderbilt.
I like that too because so much offensive production.
There's so much offense on the floor. You brought up the fact you can play him in that dunker role because all eyes and double teams are going at Luka and LeBron. How the hell do you even account for him? And then defensively, pick your matchup. Let's say we're playing OKC in a 7-game series. He's picking up SGA for 90 feet, and that kid's got to go deal with that. Welcome to the fucking vault, man. It's a tough deal.
I mean, dude, you could have Vanderbilt play a lot of minutes on him. Dorian can guard anyone. He can put a lot of minutes. I mean, we've got these sneaky Swiss Army knives that are actually, because the whole thing, you lose Anthony Davis. Obviously, your defense, that's the first thing you look at. Like, that's the hit. Like, you're like, oh, shit, you guys don't have a big, you're losing out on, a guy, the greatest defensive player to never win a DPOY. Obviously there's going to be holes in your team, but these wings, they're good. They contest. And then LeBron and Luka are such great rebounders. I'm like, I don't know how much we lose with the loss of AD. It just, especially in today's NBA and how offense is played. I like what we got. And honestly, this brings me to my next topic I wanted to talk about in the NBA was contenders and pretenders, who I think are each. I'm going to start in the West. Contenders, I believe. The Thunder, the Nuggets, and then I got 2 question marks with Lakers and Warriors. Because it's like, I believe they have a run in them, of course. but I got to see a little more after this All-Star break to really.
How much of the intangible spice can you put into this stew right now? How much weight does it actually carry? Just being like, well, we got 3 Hall of Famers and we've got 5 championships and we got Steve Kerr and then Steph Curry and the fuck, maybe it is them.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also like, again, if you're like, this goes back to that USA Canada conversation. If we just laid the numbers bare on the paper, you slide them down. But we talked about it yesterday, and I think we're going to be right. I think these Warriors are getting really hot, and God help people if they're really hot and got it figured out coming into the finals. Especially, there's no world they're going to climb up into these top 4 seeds.
No.
The question is, are they going to be, the first out of the play-in kind of deal, and all of a sudden they're playing, OKC in the opening round or Houston in the opening round, teams that, God bless them, great regular seasons, but remains to be seen in the postseason.
No, yeah, I mean, those teams and the Grizzlies as well, these guys, they're so deep, they're young, they always have fresh legs, so they just win ball games. But you're 100% right. When it comes to the playoffs, it's going to be that's why I don't fully believe in the Thunder. I know Jokic is going to be a freak in the playoffs. That's the one certified in the West. Jokic, they're going to be making a run.
Yeah, I'm of the thinking I would take the Nuggets against all 3 of those teams.
So I agree with you wholeheartedly. So the contenders in the West, one more time: Thunder, Nuggets. I should say Nuggets, Thunder, Lakers ? Warriors ? And the pretenders I have in the West are Grizzlies, Rockets, Clippers, and T-Wolves, who are all right there. Fill out the top, I think, 7 seeds. Those are the top 7 seed teams besides the Warriors.
You got 8 teams out there.
Yeah, or 8 teams. Yeah, because the Warriors
are playoffs right there. Yeah, you got the Spurs getting out. You got the Suns not making it.
Yeah,
getting playing.
If they do make it, I mean, but that's another one. If you see the Suns in a play-in game like Durant and Booker, and they show up, like that's not an easy team to beat. So if they can sneak, I don't know, but I don't think they're gonna win. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's just because I kind of agree with your 8, but as you look at it right here. You got like basically probably the Warriors beating like the Suns in a play-in, or the Mavericks maybe in a play-in game, which would be interesting. And then you've got like I don't know, fucking who else would be the play-in team? Clippers, maybe.
T-Wolves are a playing team right now. Sacramento Kings are a playing team right now. Warriors. That's why I'm like, it's gnarly.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's gnarly. You don't really know with the whole, and the play-in shit is so dumb. Why can't we take this out of the NBA now? Like, why can't we just go back to the old 8 seeds?
It makes for great games, but you currently have a model in which 20 of your 30 teams make the NBA postseason, which is ridiculous. That's the most inclusive. I mean, only 10 of your 30 teams didn't make the playoffs this year. What's a successful season? Congratulations.
Great point.
You finished in the 34th percentile of the league and you went to the playoffs. It's ridiculous.
I mean, that's like the team like the Chicago Bulls right now. The fact that they're even in the play-in in the East and they're 22 and 33, I believe. What is that? That's a joke. That's gross. Get that out.
I mean, we can't do this because I'm trying to get excited about the NBA, but we just turned the page on the NFL. This is why the NFL is just a grown-up.
Yeah,
this is ridiculous.
there's a lot of reasons too that I believe that as well. So that's what I got in the West. I'm trying to keep this quick because I know you got to fly.
Yeah.
East contenders, I have Cavs and Celtics are my realistic contenders, but I throw Knicks and Bucks in there because they're gonna fight, they're gonna compete, they're gonna be in the playoffs. Pretenders, I got Pacers, Pistons, but the rest of the conference is so bad. It's like you really the contenders, Cavs, Celtics, and then we'll see. The East is so much different than the West. It's kind of pathetic. So that's what I got with the. Oh, go ahead.
I'm not quite ready to buy the Cavs. I just, in these massive games, I just feel like they've been little brother, especially to the Celtics. And I do think the Bucks are going to be a real tough out when they get things going. I don't know why I so believe in this Kyle Kuzma rotation, but I think they're a weird.
I do as well. I do as well.
I think they run the shit out of the floor. And then the Knicks will be interesting. Can all the role players be big time, and can they roll, a true kind of look like the Suns or the 2004 Pistons kind of deal? Or is it, we need 40 from Brunson every night. So time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. But yeah, tonight's picks, I'm going to be honest, I got nothing. There's no sports that I'd gamble on and I'd give, I'm giving you guys picks here in the chat. Like, I don't want to just give you a random, I don't know anything. There was just nothing I had. I don't know college basketball. We're just going to rely on Jack tonight. So Jack, go ahead. What do we got
I like BYU at home, and I like Oklahoma on the road. Oklahoma is hanging outside the one of the few SEC teams not getting into the dance right now. They're a marquee win away from getting there. I love their coach, the guy that came over from Loyola Chicago. I've seen him have big road wins and kind of play tough. So if we get some decent outside shooting, 13.5 is a ton against Florida. I like him to give a game. And then I'm taking BYU at home against Kansas. Kansas looked like just, Lance, indescribable against Utah. They go as Hunter Dickinson goes, and slowly but surely I feel like the book gets out on him. BYU is a tough place to play. They let me down when hosting Arizona. They're not going to let me down tonight. Nor is that theory that when an unranked team hosts a ranked team and they're favored, that's a lock. Killed me last night with Baylor. Riding it again tonight. BYU.
BYU. Hey, I love it. I buy it. I believe it. All right. Well, it's I feel kind of bad, but we don't have much, folks. We don't have much to talk about here. It's just the weird gap. There's just a weird week in sports. I can tell you, Andy Dalton just signed a 2-year deal back to the Panthers. Good for him.
For Bryce Young, that guarantees Bryce Young. We're going to see that investment through.
Yep. Kyrie Irving wants to play for Australia. We can talk about it another time because it's really just not that interesting, and we've got shit to do. So, Jack, you want to lead us on this outro and call it a day?
Yeah, absolutely. This was the Wanna Parlay podcast, home of all things Wanna Parlay, the home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every day people are turning $2 into $2,000. It was a great Wanna week, or start to the Wanna week, I should say. We had the pick 4 go ahead and get ripped up, and $200 walk out the door to Mr. Where are you? Where is your name? PSV Khaleesi. Sweating out Utah at the back end of that, but they cover against Kansas State. Good stuff. And the main event, if you've not gotten submissions out there, go get 1,000 of them, because Suave is posted up there at first place right now with a 30.32. That is oh so gettable, and $2,000 is on the line, and it just cost you $2 to win it. This was the Wanna Parlay podcast. Lance, take us out.
Yep, folks. Hey, for everyone in the chat, appreciate you joining, appreciate you showing out. KG, absolute legend. We'll be back Thursday for our next show. It's going to be a great show, a lot better, because we'll be previewing heavily into the USA-Canada game. NBA will be back. We'll be able to talk that Laker game, and it'll be a little bit more entertaining, I hope. So once again, appreciate you guys. We're going to be live Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. See you then. See ya.